You are currently the only person in this conference.
Hey guys, how's everybody doing today? Can everybody hear me all right? You can hear me? Just shoot a little something into the chat just so you can hear me. All right. Yo, yo. Woohoo. What's going on, guys? Give me a second. I'm going to just upload my slides here. Gonna get everything working here. Nick, did you get the email I sent over to you? Yeah, I was out of the office yesterday for most of the day. I had a funeral in the morning and then a big meeting in the afternoon, so it was a little bit of a crazy day. But it was a good day overall. Jake and I were down in the city. Had a couple of nice, well, actually one big meeting that we were at, and life is good. Yeah, we're not more important than you, though. They're definitely not more important than you. All right, I figured what we're going to do is we'd open up the room just a little early, just to make sure that everybody had the opportunity to get in, because I hate the dead time at the beginning of a webinar, and I realize that we do that quite a bit, so it's one of those things I'm trying to get changed. I'm going to give another minute or two for everybody to get in. If you guys have any questions real fast that we want to shoot over, just let me know. Anything that anybody wants to just shoot out there for the next 2 minutes or so, and then we'll get started. We added a couple of things. You guys will notice there's a new support section to SemEasy, which actually integrates right with your account. So the support section will actually be a lot easier for us. We can actually respond via email rather than having to log into the ticket system, which is gigantic. So it'll give us the opportunity to be able to at least answer some support tickets on the go, which is huge. Yep, this is going to be about building your PBN networks. That is correct. What else is there? Let's see. Some of you guys know, some of you guys don't. I'm just going to throw it right in here, and I'm going to throw it in again after. We have our Facebook page up, so if anybody, we're going to be pushing quite a bit of information through there, just reminders and stuff, and different things that we think are relevant, that we've found across the web and stuff like that. So if you guys want to jump on there and give it a little like, you guys will at least be able to keep updated right through your Facebook as well. All right. You know what? We're gonna kick this off, and anybody who's not on the train, I guess they can catch the next train out or catch the replay. Real fast. Who already has a PBN network going, a private blog network going? Just you can throw. Yep. Brian, I know you do. Nick, I know you do. It's kind of cool, though. It's kind of cool for me, at least on my end, when people are throwing stuff into the chat, and I know them personally. It is a really kind of cool thing. All right, so at least we got a handful of people that have private blog networks. All right, who doesn't have a PBN and is starting to work on one? Just so I know the level of detail that I need to get into during the webinar. All right, so Big Eliza and David, all three of you guys are just starting to work on your PBNs now, right? Okay, but you know what? That's fine. You only have 2 at the moment, no problem at all. This will definitely, at least you have you're getting your feet wet a little tiny bit. All of you guys here, everybody here knows how to install WordPress and everything else, correct? I mean, this is nothing new. This is something that we're not going to waste our time on, correct? Okay. All right. All right. So let's just do this. Let's jump right into this, and then we're going to get to if anybody has any questions, or if anybody has any comments, or they're confused about something, we'll jump into that at the end. All right. Can everybody see the slide decks? All right. What's up, Mike? We can see the slide decks. Okay. So we're not having a technical issue there. Good. All right. So in the last webinar, we actually discussed, buying some of the domains, the intro to the private blog networks. The reason why the private blog networks work so effectively is because Google doesn't realize, obviously, that these sites are connected. And the second that Google does realize that it's a network, basically you're done. Okay. What a private blog network really is that Google looks at the private blog network, and it thinks that they're completely independent sites owned by completely different people. And, they're giving you a link back to your website, obviously, which is a vote, back to your website and says, hey, you know what, this is a good resource. So with that in mind, we really need to hide out our private blog networks. Now, it used to be back in the day when we first started these, you could put them all on shared hosting. It didn't matter. All right. Obviously, Google evolved over time. They look for a bunch of different footprints that you and I might not necessarily think of, okay? What people try and do is they go, okay, you know what, even if I get a dedicated server and I just get a different IP for a lot of my blogs, I'm good. Well, not necessarily, and the reason being is that Google can actually still see that they're all sitting on the same server, okay? A lot of these IP addresses, it still sits on the same the same C block, okay? So what happens is Google looks at it and says, yeah, listen, you know what? These guys are all sitting on the same server, and we're going to just smack them. So the importance of hiding the blog network, this is just as important as, getting the right domain, hiding your blog network, and then setting up your linking structure, okay? And the content on your site. So those are really like the 3 big aspects. So why do we need to hide our PBNs? I mean, just as I said before, if Google realizes that it's a network, if Google realizes that you're trying to manipulate their rankings, all right, they're going to slap your private blog network, all right? It's just going to be done. It's going to either be de-indexed, or it's just not going to count for anything, okay? Google will look at it and say, yep, we understand what you're trying to do, and see you later, have a great day. So because Google keeps count of each of the links that come back to your site, and it sort of looks at them as a vote, right? When each of those votes are sitting on the same IP address, Google views it as the same person voting twice. All right, we all understand that. 4 times, 20 times, 30 times. When we used to take all of our private blogs, we used to stick them all on the same shared hosting network, and then literally we woke up one day and we're like, whoa, what the hell is going on here? Because they just weren't being effective at all. And there's actually an article running around that we've been talking about for quite some time. And I'll get into that later on about, a filter for delays, for those private blog links, or any link for that matter, counting towards your website. I mean, we've been discussing that for a while, and there's definitely something there, but we'll jump into that in a little bit. So once Google knows that you're trying to gain them, they're going to shut you down. All right. Hence, you got to hide your network so that Google basically thinks that they're different votes from different people. We do this using a CDN, we do this via a CDN and DNS masking. Okay. So try not to make this complicated. A CDN is a content delivery network. All right. Sort of like your blog is a content management system, okay? What a CDN actually does, it's a network that actually delivers the content, and it delivers the content in a cached and a cloud-based fashion. So it speeds up the site, and there are lots of other benefits for it as well. Since the website is basically an image now sitting up in the clouds, when somebody's trying to hack into your website, it makes it nearly impossible for them to be able to do it, because they're really almost think about it as back with maybe I'm dating myself a little tiny bit, right? But like the holograms that you used to see in the movie, and somebody used to take a swipe at them and there was nothing there. Well, that's sort of what the CDN is, okay? It's teeing up content, it's teeing it up quickly, but it's not really there. It's virtual. So I mean, a hacker can keep swinging at it and they're never going to hit anything. All right? DNS masking, okay? The DNS is what controls where the route of where your website lives. So if you have your names, for instance, you have your domain name, okay? You put in your name servers, all right? Those name servers then are directed to your server about where your site is sitting, all right? So that's what the DNS is, okay? And you can control that DNS. You can actually point your domain to a different server if you wanted to, right? So everybody up to this point, because if we don't understand what a content delivery network and DNS masking is, it's going to be, you're going to kind of be a little bit cloudy for the rest of this webinar. So I am late. What did I miss? Got it so far. All right, Bruce, you didn't really miss a whole lot outside of that. You have to keep those blogs you have to keep your private blog network as private and as unfootprinted as possible. Okay. If Google realizes they're all sitting on the same server, they realize the same person is running those sites. They realize the sites are owned by the same person. They realize you're manipulating them, and boom, it's done. Okay? All right, so what is a CDN? It's a content delivery network. All right? Just as I said, it stores our content and it delivers it from the cloud via caching. Okay? So basically, like I said, it takes a snapshot of your website, it's an image, and it's keeping it up in the cloud. All right? Caching just simply means that it's stored in the memory for faster delivery, okay? So when we put caching plugins on our website, it's just because of the fact that we want our website to be able to deliver information much faster. There are downfalls to having your website cached, but, private blog networks aren't going to change very often, okay? The problem with the cache is because it's a snapshot, it only takes that snapshot every so often, okay? And then it presents that image to the users. So if you're constantly updating your site, that content might not be visible to a visitor of your website until the website recaches, okay? What's a DNS? Right? It's the routing code that the internet uses to figure out how to get to your website. Right, exactly, Jake. But, okay, so figure this, okay? I'm sending a package via FedEx from California to myself in New York, or somebody's sending a package from California to myself in New York, okay? FedEx actually has a whole routing map already set up for anything going from, California to New York, okay? And that path that they have set up, think about that as your DNS. That's the routing code, okay, that's being used. So that's all it really is. All right. How does DNS work? So just to wrap your head around it real fast, all right, you have your registrar. So let's say it's GoDaddy or Namecheap or whoever you decide, Bluehost, whoever you decide that you wanted to purchase your domains from, okay? So you point your domains to your name servers, okay? I mean, they've tried to make it a little bit easier over the years, okay? So you point them to the name servers, all right? The name servers actually point to your IP address, all right? And the IP address is your server and where your content lives, all right? So it's a very easy path, okay? I mean, this is the dumbed down version. and really the only thing that we need to know, okay? So you got your registrar, points to the name servers point to your IP address, which is your servers and where your website lives. This is what Google normally sees, okay? It sees the registrar, okay? It sees the name server, and then it sees the IP address, and it sees the server that it's sitting on, all right? Google can see the whole picture, all right? So what we want to do is, by masking out this process, all right, and adding the CDN to the process, little John Cena, this is actually from my two boys. We went to go see a little fake wrestling the other day. I know some of you guys think it's real, but little John Cena, you can't see me, all right? So what happens now is that, you know, Google can still see the registrar, okay? You can go to the who is, and you can still see who the registrar is, okay? Google can still see the name servers, all right, which is still not a big deal because I'll explain in a minute why it's not a big deal, even if the name servers are all the same. But then it can't see the IP address. It can't see the servers that these things are living on, all right? And that's a big deal because of the fact that if Google can't determine that they're all sitting on the same IP addresses or you know, use that type of footprint in order to figure out that this is a network, all right, they're not going to hit you, all right? So what happens is if you use a particular set of name servers, all right, and they're shared by millions of different websites, the same name servers, all right, Google can't figure out where the website lives. And that's what these CDN networks actually do. They only have a handful of name servers, and then it's routed through their back end. All right, as far as where this website actually lives. Google can't actually see it anymore, all right? So with that being said, I mean, we use CDN networks all the time on our blogs, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to show you exactly which service we use, how you can get it, how you can set it up, and it should be pretty easy at the end of this to set it all up for yourself and for you to understand exactly why you should be doing this. We actually use Cloudflare. Cloudflare is not the only one, but it's probably the best and biggest one out of all of the CDN networks. All right. If you take a little look at this, this little image that we have here, you'll actually see that you have good visitors, you got crawlers and bots, but you also have malicious bots and malicious hackers always trying to hit your website. All right. So what Cloudflare did originally was, and this was its purpose, and this is the reason why Google doesn't really look at Cloudflare and smack any websites that are set up with a CDN. Google, first of all, Google wants to see your website show up as quickly as possible because speed is a factor in ranking. We all know this, okay? Well, we should all know this. But Google is also very well aware because, I mean, I've had it happen to me. When my website gets hacked, Google puts a notification right into the SERP results and says, listen, this website, you know, may contain malicious code, blah, blah, blah. So obviously, if my website integrity is in question, my rankings are going to suffer as well. So Google actually understands why a lot of people are using CDN networks. All right. They use it for the effectiveness of trying to keep hackers from being able to hammer their website and, you know, perform a DDoS attack or just try and input malicious, you know, code via, you know, a PHP injection or whatever the case may be. So what actually happens is, let me grab my little pen here. All right. So your website is sitting over here. Let me change the color so you can see it. Oh, it's actually much faster page performance as well. All right. So your website's sitting here. What happens is a cached version or a snapshot of your website gets pushed and will hang out right here in the cloud. So the good visitors coming to you are actually seeing this. The bots and crawlers are actually seeing this image. And the attackers are actually seeing this image. But the real point is, if a hacker now tries to hack your website, tries to brute force your website, what they're brute forcing is actually Cloudflare. They're not brute forcing your server at this point. They can't actually hack into the cached version of your site. All right. Which obviously makes it great as far as if you're trying to protect yourself from being hacked. But it also, you know, tees up a really fast version. The only issue is that, you know, if you're updating this thing, you know, every 10 minutes, it may take a little while to catch up. All right. So I guess the next question is, how much is this stuff going to cost me, right? Because that's always the question that I come up with. I go, all right, well, now that I understand that this is what I want to do, what's the pitch? How much is it going to cost me? How much is this going to, take out of my bottom line? And the answer is it's free. All right. Yes, it's free. Cloudflare offers a free service, and that's all we basically need for our private blog networks. But where they try and upsell you is that they try and upsell you, like, for instance, if you had an e-commerce website, or if you had a website that needed SSL, they'll then upsell you because you can't use Cloudflare with your SSL certificate and stuff like that. There are upsells there, but for what we need them for, it is absolutely free. Yeah, and it's a win-win, So let's just walk you through the process here real fast. And any limits on 3 benefits of the 20? No, I'm assuming you were saying free. No, we use the free for all of our stuff. Like I said, unless you have an e-commerce website where you need to have, your certificates and stuff like that, then yeah, you got to upgrade. Otherwise, the free works just fine. All right. And I can tell you that there are huge multi-million-dollar companies. I'm talking about into hundreds of millions and billion-dollar companies that use Cloudflare. Okay. If you guys are questioning, you're like, well, how well is this service? You know what? It's been vetted. So, yep, it's built into the cPanel of Bluehost. Actually, not that long ago did they put it into the cPanel of Bluehost. All right, so Nick, what we're going to do is we're going to go into how tough it is to implement, all right? I'm not just going to kind of throw it out, the solution out there and say, okay, now figure it out, all right? So we're going to walk through that step by step now. What are the benefits? Once again, I do a little bit of talking. Sometimes I fail to see the slides. So here, just a real quick recap. Protection from hackers. Google can't see the network, faster content delivery, and able to control the DNS at any time. All right. So if there's an issue with one server, you can go right into Cloudflare and you could just push your private blog network or one website over to a different server. Okay. It actually stops from downtime and everything else if you're trying to push all of your sites from one server over to another. Because what you do is you just switch the DNS right there in the back end of Cloudflare, and then once it resolves, it's resolving to your new server. Mike, let's see. So if you do find an IP on a domain, it gives you a different one to the actual. Yeah, that's right. What it's actually doing is it will actually tee up a different IP address for every site that goes into Cloudflare. And yes, they all have the same name servers, but a Cloudflare only has about, I want to say maybe 8 to 10 name servers total. And I could be wrong about that, but the number is like really that low, that everybody's name servers are the same. Okay. It pushes it through that and then gives all of those websites different IP addresses. All right. So let's push this through. So this is the big question. How do you set it up? Well, now that we know that it's free and now that we know the benefits from it, right? And like I said, it's not just keeping your network, free from hackers, like I said, and keeping Google at bay from realizing where they're all living. It's also the speed as well. Okay. So this changes the site's IP. Well, no, it doesn't change the IP address of where the site is actually living in the server. It changes the IP address that Google and everybody is viewing this website at because it's viewing it in the cloud. Jake, you want to jump in there? Jake, do you have a mic?
Yeah, I just had to change my view and unmute my mic. Alrighty, so the question is, do you need separate hosts? Does it change the site IP too? No, you don't need separate hosts. You could have everything coming off the same host and the same IP. Yeah, exactly. Cloudflare is essentially acting as a giant proxy. It's passing all the information through its own servers, its own, I think they call it the Cloudflare Edge Network or something like that. Yeah, unlucky Mac cuts. Best luck figuring this out. Yeah, well, they'll be able to figure it out. All they got to do is sign up for a premium membership. But fixing it, that's a whole nother story. I don't know how they're going to manage that. It's a pretty big hole. I don't think anybody else is really exploiting it right now. Hopefully you guys could be the first couple to do it. Besides us, obviously. And that's how we take care of landlord and all that. So, that's not only landlord, every single site we do. No, you don't need a different C-class host for every site. You could have everything on the same box, and you could have everything on the same end IP address. Yeah, secrets of the trade. Yeah, he sent out those emails, said we're going to reveal these secrets. Yeah, if you have like 12 different hosting accounts, and even if you're paying the $3, $4 account, say it's $5 total after taxes and everything, that's $70 a month, or $60 a month, I should say, you're paying on hosting, Knock that down to $5, or take that $60 and invest in a nice VPS or something and have all your stuff running off one nice batch box. But this is great for really any site that you could possibly think of putting or stuffing on one box. Exactly. It means more domains. Means you could try out a lot more things. It means you could stuff your client site if it's on the same sites as their PBNs. If you, if you're billing out a client and they have an account and you're charging them X amount for a server, it's probably gonna be some arbitrary fee like $200 a month when it's really only costing you $5 or $10. And you could put both their PBN and their site, their money site, on the same box and not really have to worry about it. And I would recommend putting them on different IP addresses, just, in case Google does figure something out one day, or in case Google partners with Cloudflare, and then they start reporting all this stuff. But I don't foresee that happening in the near future. You can keep them on the same IP address. But, yeah, just signed up and set up a website in less than 4 minutes. Nice. Alrighty. I'm going to hop off here and let Andrew, pick it back up. And, that's all. Peace out, guys.
All right, guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through, like Bruce, I'm going to go through the question that you have right now. Okay. We still have, I got about 15 more slide decks to go through. Yeah, you can move all your sites to one server, cancel the rest. That's exactly what you can do. Now, there are people that say, well, if Google really wanted to figure it out, well, you know what? I'm sure that Google could really try and figure it out at some point. But the problem is the amount of processing, it's just like anything. The amount of resources that would have to be thrown out at it is just absolutely ridiculous. It's not like Google being able to go into a private blog network, like one of those private public blog networks, public private blog networks like we were talking about before, making one post and just seeing what sites that it showed up on and then de-indexing all of them. That was pretty freaking easy. There's no way that, they could figure this out without just a tremendous amount of resources, and it's just not in their bottom line to actually do it, right? You've got to look at, Google is looking to invest in what's going to make them more money. Now, don't get me wrong. I would look at Google going and saying, we're going to buy Cloudflare before they would actually sit there and try and figure out every single website and if it's a network or what the case may be. Okay. So, let's move on with how you guys do this. When you're in the week, let me just see if there's any questions here that I missed. You can use one Cloudflare account. That is correct. I'm going to show you how that all works. Let's see here. In the UK region, is that true? Mike, I don't know about the whole UK thing. I'm not 100% sure. I'm going to be honest. Yeah. Okay. So we're pretty much up to speed here. So how do you set it up? All right. We're going to do a little step-by-step version here. If you guys want to open up another tab or window, side by side, you can actually follow along with me. So you're going to go to cloudflare.com. All right. Just click on the free sign up. All right. I tried to make this, I'm not looking to insult anybody here. I just want to make it as easy as humanly possible. And actually taking the screenshots made it easier for me to create the decks here as well. Now, if you change the IP address, it has no effect on your rankings. All right. So the toughest part about Cloudflare is when you first sign up, and I think that they actually made this easier even in the last week or two since I put this thing together. You've got to figure out the name servers that they assign you to, okay? And like I said, they only have a handful of them, all right? But you've got to find your own name servers, okay? Those two name servers are going to be those name servers for everything that comes through your account, okay? Those are going to be your name servers. I actually have it set up that when I buy a brand new domain, these name servers are the ones that are set up right from the time that I purchased that domain, all right? It automatically gets shot right to Cloudflare right from the get-go, all right? All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to identify, grab this, you're going to identify your name servers right here. Back to a black so you can see it. You're going to identify your name servers right there. Then write them down. Just pop them in a notepad or something, but put them somewhere where you're going to remember them. All right, and a lot of people are asking about the shared IPs and the shared hosting. A lot of you guys might not even realize that, you know, a lot of the shared hosting goes back to like 2 or 3 large companies, and then they just give reseller accounts. So you're going to you're actually going to some of these websites. You're going, oh man, you know, this is a completely different hosting service, and it's actually not. It's actually a sub under, you know, a larger, you know, hosting company. So that's a big issue. All right, but this will actually solve that issue. So you grab your name servers right here, okay? Write them down. All right. Step 3, point all of your domains to those name servers, okay? The ones that you're going to want to run through Cloudflare, just go through, whether it be GoDaddy or Namecheap or whoever the heck you buy your domains from, change the name servers over to those two name servers that you just wrote down, okay? For this, you're going to have to go back to your registrar company, whether it be GoDaddy, Namecheap, or whatever else, and point those name servers. You just got to do it, unless you have it set up that when you buy the domain, that it automatically points to those two name servers. All right? Then what you're going to do is you're going to basically just go, you're going to log into your Cloudflare account, and we have 2 Cloudflare, well, actually we have more than 2 Cloudflare accounts, but just because of the fact that it was starting to get too big when we were having thousands of domains in each Cloudflare account, so we would just open up a new one. Just it made it easier for us to find the domains if we wanted to work on them. But for the most part, you could keep several hundred of them in one account. So if you guys need more than that, yeah, open up another free account. But just try and keep them all in one place, okay? Let me just grab some water here. All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to take the domain, you're going to pop it right into the top here in Cloudflare. You're going to click Add Website. And I actually set up something, what the heck do you call it, an iMacro. And it actually does all of this stuff for me at this point. It has all of the information for me to fill out all of Cloudflare. I have a pop-up box that asks me for my domain name. I paste it in there, I click go, and it runs through everything else with Cloudflare that I have to do. So I actually had to go through here and do this manually. All right, so you put the domain name in here, you click on your add website. All right, that's easy enough. It's going to take a couple of minutes. Actually, they say less than 60 seconds. And it runs through and it looks at the current DNS. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to point those name servers before you put them into Cloudflare, okay? All right, once you put your domain in, and it scans it, you're going to see this, click continue, okay? Now what I do is you can add multiple domains, and I normally do this right here. Just put in the domain, separate them by a comma. Doesn't matter whether you put a space or you don't put a space in between them. Cloudflare is smart enough to figure it out. Click add now, and it'll just grab all of them. And just scan all the DNSs all at one shot. All right. You click on the continue setup. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make these slide decks available to you guys so you guys have them. Okay. Just in case there's a question or whatever else, in case you have to go back. All right. So you really have to set up 3 sections. Okay. You've got to set up. This is your domain name, and it points. This is your real IP address that you're going to be putting in. Okay. You have your FTP, so you can still get back into it, and so you're not just swinging at a something in the sky. All right, you're not just swinging at at a vaporized ghost, if you will, in the cloud, you're actually going to be able to get into your FTP if you need to, obviously. And then your CNAME, which is just, basically your canonical, whether it be the www or, you're adding the www, because otherwise, if you put in the website without the www or you put it in without, it will actually look at it differently. So you actually have to set up, normally where you would set it up through the htaccess file, you actually set it up in Cloudflare here for the http://website.com or the www.website.com. All right. So continuing. You know what, guys? This is what I would say. Rather than debating whether this works or not, we'll actually discuss that in a couple of minutes. I would just pay attention to actually how we set this up, and then we can debate it out whether it works or whether it doesn't work, and we know that it works because we've tested this thing for I can't even tell you how long. All right, so setup 6. You need to set up the zones, which is basically what you saw in the last slide. I'm actually going to go ahead and we're just going to take each zone, and I'm going to show you exactly how to set them up. All right, you're going to want to pay attention to this. So zone 1, okay, the type of record is an A record. You're going to put your domain in. You're going to put the actual IP address where it lives, all right? You're going to keep the TTL to automatic, and you're going to want to make sure that this little cloud here is all colored in, okay? It's not grayed out, all right? That's what you got to do for the first record that you're going to put in here, all right? Your zone 2, your second record, is going to be your FTP. So you're going to make this, once again, an A record. You're going to make the second part, the FTP. You're going to put in your same IP address of where it's actually sitting, where it actually lives, whether it be your Bluehost or your HostGator account or whatever that is. You're going to want to switch this to automatic, and you're going to want to make sure that this cloud is grayed out, okay? Otherwise, you're not going to be able to get into your FTP. Now, later on, after you're all set, you can actually click on this cloud and make it colored, okay? Nick, I understand you're confused, all right? If you want, we'll go back over this, or you're going to be able to see the replay. What you're basically doing now, if you're confused, is you have your domain, right? You have your registrar. You've pointed those name servers to Cloudflare, right? So now the domain is being pointed to Cloudflare. Now Cloudflare needs to know what the hell am I doing with this domain once it hits me. All right, you got that part, right? All right, I'm going too fast. You know what? I could slow down. Actually, let me go back. Let me go back one or two decks here. All right. So all you're going to do is, like I said, set up your free Cloudflare account, put your domain in right here. All right. After it scans it, and there's nothing for you to do here, you click on continue. All right. Your domain will actually show up, okay? It will show up right here after it's done scanning. You're going to click on the continue setup, and then it's going to ask you basically, it's going to give you a section for records, like what do you want to do, okay? And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to set up 3 zones, okay, 3 records. One is an A record for the domain without the www, so it knows which IP address it's grabbing and taking a snapshot and taking the cache from, okay? That's going to be your first record, all right? Your second record is going to be your FTP, because remember we told you that hackers are going to be trying to hit your website. You're setting up a way that you can still get into the FTP on your website. And if you don't have this, if you don't have it set up, you can't get into the FTP on your website. The third portion is setting it up with the www. So if somebody goes to you, whether it's looking for with the www or without the www, they're still going to get to your blog. That's all we're doing right now, okay? And I'm going to show you exactly how those zones, how we set up those zones, okay? So the first zone is an A record, okay? Right here, you're going to put in your domain name. It's going to ask you for your IP address. This should say automatic, and if it doesn't, make sure it does. And this cloud should be all colored in. It should do the last two things for you, okay? You just want to make sure that after you put it in, that this is what it looks like, okay? And all I did, guys, was I just blocked out my, my domain name and my IP address, okay? For the second record I want to set up, okay? Once again, it is an A record. It's going to be FTP. And there's a drop down there, so you can select FTP on that drop down. You're going to put in your IP address where it lives. You're going to make sure it says automatic, and you're going to make sure that the cloud is grayed out. And Nick, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you these slide decks, okay, so you guys can actually follow along here when you're doing it. But after you do the first one or two or three, it's not going to be complicated at all. The last one, rather than making it an A record, you're going to make it a CNAME record, all right? And in this box, you're going to put in the www, and it's an alias of your domain name without anything else. Don't put in an HTTP : or a www there. Make sure it says automatic, then click add. That's it. Those are the three little steps you need to do. And if you guys want, I can actually help you. Like I said, I have iMacros that I set up in Firefox. Makes it really easy for me to do this every single day. All right? Once you're done putting that in, you basically now just have to run through like 2 or 3 more pages, okay? You're going to click on, I'm done entering my DNS records. For the canonicals, Cloudflare will handle the with the www and without the www, so you don't even have to worry about it, Todd. All right, this is the upsell page. Okay, this is where Cloudflare makes its money. So just leave everything exactly the way that it is. It should say free. If it doesn't say free, make sure it does say free. You know, the performance level, all you need is the CDN, okay? And yes, Mark is right. The limitations of the free version is that it doesn't support SSL certificates, okay? If you need an SSL certificate because you wanted to set this up on your e-commerce website or whatever else, on a website that has an SSL certificate, then you're going to, obviously, they're going to hit you for the upsell, okay? But for our purposes of what we're explaining here, you don't need it, all right? So you're going to click on the continue button. You're going to click on the I've updated my name server. You're going to see another button on the bottom. I've updated my name servers. Click continue. And that's it. You're done. Okay? What you should be able to do at this point, all right, and this is the process, okay, get your domain name, set it up on your server, okay? Your domain name has to be set up on your server. So wherever you're doing it, Bluehost, HostGator, it doesn't make a difference, okay? Your name servers have to be pointed to Cloudflare. Then Cloudflare has to be pointed back to your server, okay? It's sort of a circle, but Cloudflare stops the break, all right? So if you do it correctly, you should be able to go right into the top of your browser bar, put in your domain name, and you should see index of CGI bin, okay? You should see this right here. And that's how you know that it's connecting properly, all right? And that's it. That's what you need. After you've done that, anything you built Google is blind to at that point, all right? So, yeah, I mean, listen, Mark, it's awesome, it's free. But the whole thing is that, you know, a lot of people they don't know. I mean, I would say, forget a lot of people. Most people didn't even know that you could do this, okay? And the way that we figured it out was over testing, over time, over things that we saw and said, you know, put pieces of the puzzle together and said, holy crap, this works. And to be honest with you, I tried all sorts of different SEO hosting platforms. There are some out there that work really well, okay? And I'm not knocking any of them by any stretch. There were 1 or 2 of them that got hit and got hit bad, okay? Eliza, if somebody doesn't want to go through this process, I think you have a company, right, that actually will do something very similar to this. And we spoke about it earlier, and like I said, if you don't want to do this process, there are companies that will basically do this for you. No, not Eliza. All right, there was somebody that I'd spoken to that actually has this. Maybe it's, and I forget who it was. Maybe it was Cecilia. All right. Yep. Okay. So let me see. Explain the resolving test again. Okay. So what happens, Todd, is you have your domain registrar. Okay. You point your domain to the name servers that Cloudflare assigned to you. Okay. You only do this before. Let's start this. Okay. You bought the domain name. All right. You set it up on your hosting as like an add-on domain. Okay. Through Bluehost, through HostGator, wherever you're setting it up. Okay. Then you go over to Cloudflare and you pop that in there. You pop that domain into Cloudflare and you run the course that we just showed you. Okay. After you run that course that we just showed you, when you go to the top of your browser, whether you're using Firefox, Chrome, Safari, doesn't make a difference. Put in that domain name. You're going to see this as the result. Okay. You're going to go to the domain and there's nothing sitting there. As long as you can hit that domain, you're good. If you're getting the timing out messages and everything else, then you know you screwed something up. All right. So you should be able to hit the server and you should just see that there's nothing sitting on the server. Then go ahead and build out your site. No, David, I'm going to let Jake actually handle that question, but I wouldn't run a cache plugin on top of Cloudflare. I mean, you could. It's not going to screw anything up, but Cloudflare actually has its own cache built in. You put Cloudflare in development mode while right. Actually, that's 100% right. You can actually put Cloudflare into a development mode so it's not caching, so you can actually see what's going on, and then turn the caching back on. Right. That's if there's no site built. And what I suggest, Todd, if you're doing that, the problem is going to be, if you have a site in an old location, you have a site in the new location, you're going to have to put something on that page. And I do this just as my dummies reference to make sure that I know which version of my website I'm looking at, if it resolved or if it didn't yet. All right. But normally when we set these up, I set these up right from the very beginning. And once they're sitting on Cloudflare, I build out the sites. But yeah, I understand that a lot of you guys are going to be moving sites over now that you realize that this method works and everything else. So yeah, I understand now what you're saying, Todd. So, what I would do is I would put something right on the page, just, test one or whatever else, site one or, new site, just put it somewhere in the content. And then as soon as it rolls over, just go in there and you can delete it out so you know which one you're looking at. Does it have an effect on Google crawling your site? Nope, not at all. Not at all. Actually, we've been using this for I can't even tell you how long, and we're able to get thousands of pages indexed within a day. So, no, it doesn't. It does prevent spam comments. It prevents bots from just hammering the crap out of your site. Okay? So, once you get to this page, that's it. You know that you're done. Or once you get to the site that's sitting there, that you put a little something on that site that you know it's slightly different from the original site. You guys are following what I'm saying? Once it resolves, you're done. That's it. You don't have to worry about anything else. You're invisible, if you will. Yeah, it does have some pretty cool analytics. There's a lot of things about Cloudflare. If you explore it out, the problem, I don't want to go too in depth into it, Mark, because of the fact that some people are still wrapping their heads around, how it all works. Okay. DNS, for whatever reason, is a scary thing. You'll actually realize that a lot of people will buy their domain names through a much more expensive host just because of the fact that that's where they're hosting their website. And it's just easier for them because they know that the default, name servers are in there. It's actually, DNS is not really all that scary. And what I love about, Cloudflare is that, I had a bunch of domains that I bought through Bluehost. And when Bluehost went down, don't worry about it, Mark. When Bluehost went down, everybody was yelling and screaming. And actually, I was one of those people yelling and screaming. But the websites that I had up on Cloudflare, I didn't have much of an issue with. I was actually able to, because I had backups of all of them, I stuck them up on a different server, and I was able to change the DNS. And the DNS was not controlled by the same place that was hosting my website. So, while everybody was screaming and in the dark, Yeah, it took me a little while. It took me a half hour to an hour to get myself back up and running somewhere else. But everybody else was yelling and screaming and couldn't figure out what the hell was going on. And we were able to actually roll things over ourselves. For current sites switching over, would they be down for a small time? So setup. Now, Steve, if you do it correctly, right, what's going to happen is if you have your old site sitting there and right now your domain is pointed at your old server, right? So if you put up the new site on the new hosting, okay, it will be seamless. It will either be defaulting to the old website or it will jump over as soon as it resolves over to, the new hosting area. Okay. So you're not going to have any downtime at all. The only problem that you're going to have is if you don't make some sort of little tiny change, then, you're going to have to use some tools to figure out which host it's actually resolving to and everything else. Okay. I would just make a little tiny change on your website just so you know the difference of which copy you're looking at. That makes sense? Yeah, Nick, to clarify, yes, you can. To be honest with you, I normally don't because I put my money sites on a pretty good server, and I'll use everything else on a nice little crappy shared host server. But if you wanted to, yes, you could do that. To be honest with you, it's probably worth having a shared hosting for your PBNs and then having another box for, your money sites. That's what I would do personally. Two different web hosting companies. So if Bluehost does go down and HostGator does go down, we all know that. So you're not completely down all in the dark when one thing happens. Okay? All right, guys. I know that this was a lot to take in, but what we're actually going to do is we're going to put up these slide decks for you guys. Jake, you still there, right?
Yeah, I'm just dealing with people bitching at me in support tickets right now.
All right. Well, listen, this is what the deal is. What I'd like to do is just have you take 2 seconds to explain to people how the download locker is going to change eventually and how we're going to put these slide decks into the download locker.
Okay, cool. Yeah, Sem plugin, we've been saying it for a while that the update's coming out. We've just been waiting for that freaking update to come back from one of our developers for a while now. We're almost done with the security audit on it. He says it'll be done on the 11th, so fingers crossed, We could only relay to you the information we get from him. So, last week it's going to be done by the 4th, and, now it's going to be done by the 11th. But whatever, when it's done, it's going to be really cool because you're no longer going to need to go to the download locker to get your extensions, right on the WordPress dashboard, of your site with the Sem plugin installed. You'll get the update notifications just like any other WordPress, plugin. Additionally, when you first load the plugin up onto your site, you're going to have that screen that shows you all different extensions that are available to use, and you'll be able to just, click a checkbox and go get extension. It'll pull all the code straight onto your server. You don't want to use the extension anymore, there'll be another checkbox to, remove extension, and you can just go do that real easily. And the same thing for updating extensions. You'll get a whole table list of extensions, and when there's an update available, it'll highlight it and say, yo, this one's ready for an update. You click the checkbox, you click update, or you click the update all button, and it grabs it. Index Assault, yep, Index Assault will be released with the new version of the plugin, and that's the incentive to get you guys to update the plugin. Looks like we got a hand raised over here, so I'm going to unmute your mic. And if you have a microphone, you could ask it. And if not, just type your question in the box. That was a mistake. All right. Well, I'm going to lower your hand then. If anybody else has any questions, no? Yes, no? Great stuff. Thanks, guys. Greatly appreciate it. Sorry if I sound a bit tired. I've been up all night. You could ask Andy, revamping the support system after a crash yesterday. So if you go to help.semeasy.com or support.semeasy.com or support.sourcelandlord.com or support.serplandlord.com, they'll all bring you to the new help module. You got to be logged in as a Semeasy user to insert a support ticket. So make sure you got an account, which obviously all you guys do. And that's pretty much it, guys. Everything's just slowly getting more integrated. We're getting a better platform here, and it's a little exciting and really, really tiring. So enjoy the new support system, guys. And I'm going to pass it back to Andy to take care of the rest of the PBN questions.
Cecilia, you know what? Hit Jake up and see if he can help you on the account. Nick, in reference to questions about the PBNs, can we use the same article on more? No, absolutely not. What I'm going to do is the next advanced PBN training is going to be about the content that you want to that you're going to want to put, footprints that you're going to want to avoid on your websites, all that sort of stuff, linking structures, how you're going to want to link back to your websites, and those things that, you know, yeah, it's great that we keep everything, you know, hidden from Google on the IP level. You know, that's great. But, you know, the next step is to really, you know, how to build it out properly. So, you know, even though they're on different IP levels, you know, Google's not looking at it going, whoa, what the hell, you know? And actually, I've had private blog networks that I forgot about and have actually helped Google penalize the crap out of my site because of bad anchor text and shit like that. So, we're going to get into that. Let's see here. Yeah, SerpShaker. SerpShaker is coming out on the 14th for you guys. Just so you know, SerpShaker is not one of our products, but it is a product that I would tell you is going to make a big difference for you if you want to try and build out these type of sites. Gigantic. It's really awesome. It's very cool. It's actually being revamped. It's actually being revamped from the old Local Pages Ninja, which, to be honest with you, was probably like one of the coolest plugins ever. But the problem with it was that it definitely caught Google's attention. So if you were using Local Pages Ninja, Google would actually slap your site because of that particular plugin being installed if they could see it. So, don't use it. You're going to want to use the SerpShaker. Is SerpShaker going to be about building? Sort of. It builds out sites. It's going to be difficult to build out sites as big as Landlord, but big what you're doing, like you're building out counties and stuff like that, or even like a state. It'll work just fine for that, and it's dynamite for that. All right. So we've actually, Jake and I have been together with Don quite a bit. I mean, I met up with Don up in Lake George, and we hung out for a long time together, just talking about everything. As you guys know, I've known Don for, a long time. Don is actually the one that's going to be putting out SerpShaker. He's putting it out on the 14th. Once again, we're actually going to shoot out to our membership, when it opens, but, you're not going to get, we don't send out affiliate emails. We just don't do it. We're not going to get you're not going to get an email from us saying, oh, here, buy this and you got bonuses and upside. That's not what we do. So we're just going to let you guys know when it becomes available, and we're going to shoot you guys over just an update, or maybe we'll even just put it on the site, an update that that SerpShaker is available. And obviously we're going to put it out there because I believe in the product. I love the product. A lot of the stuff that we did came from that original mindset and that original stuff that Don did. A lot of our stuff actually comes from Don himself. I mean, he's great, we'll send out emails, guys, in reference to upcoming training, different stuff that we may have going on. But it's not being used as a sales, hammering away. And, we don't get on those affiliate lists, and we don't send out, oh, my greatest friend, what's his name? Michael Smith just came up with something. We just don't do it, and we won't do it. Is there a Silo plugin? Yeah, there is. There is a Silo plugin in the works. There's also a Schema plugin in the works. I don't want to give away everything. There is also something in the works that I am not going to discuss, but I'm going to tell you that it is going to blow all of your minds. Probably the greatest thing that I've ever seen in internet marketing, period, that we're working on, which is why we've been so busy. There's something pretty big coming down the pipe. Actually, we've been speaking to Don. After Don finishes up his launch for Surfshaker, Don will be coming on board just to be spending a whole lot more time with us. He's going to be giving us, well, let's just say, I don't even want to speak for Don, but we're going to be doing a lot of work with Don. So Don's going to be part of our community on a regular basis. He's going to be all over the place, okay, which is going to be really cool. So now you got, basically, you're going to have three faces here. You're going to have Jake, who I think is like a programming genius, okay. Don, also programming genius, but SEO veteran, been around the block. Don's been around for a long time. I've been around for a long time. I'm not a coder though. That's what separates me out. Yeah, Bruce, I can definitely do that. Not a problem. Like I said, I've been out of commission for a day or two. I had a death in the family, so we're back to work. We had a big meeting last night, like I said, we're on track. So what about Ben? Yes, you know what? Let's talk about Ben. So Ben is coming on. Ben is on board with us right now. Ben is going to be handling a good portion of the stuff that Jake and I just can't handle much anymore because of the fact that we're literally moving at a pace of we're actually playing with things and manipulating things and testing and experimenting things so fast we can't even get the information out right now. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to take a lot of the stuff off of our shoulders, put it onto Ben's, because Ben is like probably one of the most capable guys that I know. Probably one of the, just a super smart guy. And he's going to actually, like I said, he's with the team. He's actually here in the office, and he's going to be handling support. He's going to be handling a bunch of different things. Just ask, don't beat up on Ben too much as he's jumping in here and getting his feet wet. But we're going to be standing right by his side there, right? So, he's not going to just be held out there. He's sensitive. He's not going to just be held out there to dry. If he has a question about something, he literally, walks over to Jake or myself and says, guys, what do I do with this? Okay. If he's not sure. So, but Ben is awesome. You guys will meet him. And he's a character. So, all right, guys, listen, any other questions? Somebody asked what's next. Okay. So what we're going to do is what is next is we are going to do, like I said, that, content and linking structure and everything else. That's going to be scheduled for next week. Jake, do you have a time next week that works? Maybe? Okay. I'm going to say probably Tuesday, guys, but we'll put it up.
Next week, I don't know. What time works for you guys? We're pretty flexible insofar as organizing these 7 hours. They only take about an hour's worth of time.
Same.
Bit consistent. All right, so we want to do Wednesday at 2 p.m. or 2:05?
Yeah, that's perfect.
All righty.
Right.
And we're gonna, Surfshaker's getting released on Thursday.
Tuesday. It's the 14th. What's the 14th? Is that Tuesday?
Monday. It's gonna release Monday. Never mind. All right, so Surfshaker is getting released Monday, which means Don's going to be busy until at least the next Monday. So we should expect to see Don coming in here and starting his training courses and his weekly podcasts, which are going to take place here probably around the 21st or the 22nd of July. And then immediately after that comes the big push, guys. Semeasy is it's going out to the email lists finally, 4, 5, 6 months down the line. I'm going to try to transition this out of beta. We got some new servers queued up that are being built right now, and there's going to be a few days of, not a few days, like a few hours, one of these nights of downtime. So if the servers go down for any reason, don't worry, we're not getting hacked. We're just preparing for the big push. Cloudflare, yeah. We will be setting up Cloudflare business accounts, and I'll be testing out Railgun extensively, to make sure that we could cache as much of the the content on the site as we can and really speed it up. There's been a little uptick in site usage over the past few days after the holiday, and as some of you may have noticed, it's gotten a little bit slow. A good deal of that has been with me just screwing around on the backside, installing new stuff and changing up code, and that'll definitely slow up the site. Especially if you guys are trying to pull down a web page. The new design is nice though. Thanks guys, appreciate it. Been working hard. But if you notice the pages load really weird at some point and then you refresh the page and it's fine, it's probably because you were downloading the page while I was uploading the page. The chat is miles better. Thanks guys. I hope you like the new banners better too. I think they're a little bit better. We're going to remove banners altogether, those advert banners on the bottom for signed in users. No reason to have them. The other thing on the agenda today, which I should have been driving down now that I think about it, to the office instead of just listening to this webinar and participating here, we're going to be putting in a landing logged in page. So instead of, it used to redirect you to the My Account page, and now it redirects you to the home page, but eventually it's going to redirect you straight over to the I guess update page / I'm a logged in user. This is what's going on. Hey, there's a webinar going on now, or check out these new sections. Oh yeah, the chat on mobile. Oh yeah, that was a big update. Should be really cool. I like it. I think Andy likes it.
I love the mobile chat. Jake keeps telling me, he goes, hey, Andrew, he calls me up. Did you check out the mobile chat? I'm on mobile chat. Let me hit you up on mobile chat. He loves it. And it's freaking awesome. But Jake was very excited about that.
Want more people on the forum? Yeah, you and me both. So invite them. If you know any people, invite them, guys. The forums right now, we're not ready to do our full email list. Like I'll be honest, we got an email list of about 40 to 50,000 emails right now to send out. We're just waiting to hit that trigger. We're working pretty hard on the back end here to get it all ready and to make the site, not a beta, but a premium site worth the money. And before we push it out, we want to have everything cleaned up. But in the interim, if you want more participation, spread the word about SemEasy. Everywhere you post it, you get a few more eyeballs on it. We get a little bit more recognition, and a little bit more people come back to the site. The price decrease has seemed to be pretty popular. We've seen a steady uptick in premium members. Just seems like the big problem right now is getting everybody to participate in the forum, and I think we're going to have to do some incentivizing, and we're also going to have to, Andrew and I have already discussed this, but, we got to put in that member landing page as soon as you log in or as soon as you complete your first transaction here, so you could actually get a nice introduction to SemEasy or a little walk around. And I think just a lot of people are overwhelmed. They log in, they create an account, they log in, and then it's like, oh great, now what do I do? You guys who've been around here a while, you kind of understand the flow of things. So I think while Ben is drafting up all the help documentation and creating these demo videos, because that's something that's Ben's job now. If you guys want to help out the new members and just lend a guiding hand, you guys are the legacy members here now. You're like the grandfathers of SemEasy. Everybody else coming in over the next few weeks, they're going to be the newbies. You guys aren't newbies anymore. So help them out, be kind, keep the old people of SemEasy. Yeah. Keep SemEasy the awesome community that it is. If some new members, seem a little rough around the edges, just give them a little bit of space and just welcome them in. And there you go, calling me old again. I'm not calling anybody old. Y'all are probably older than me though. Now that I think about it, I'm just a young guy. Andy, it's pretty funny actually. Like my mom, when she first saw Andy, she thought Andy would be like a 20-year-old tech guy like me. And she's got this, Andy, how old are you? Like 35 now?
Oh, geez, I wish, man. I just hit 40.
Oh, geez, yeah. So my mom walks into my office, and I'm just a 22-year-old dude, and sees this 40-year-old guy, and she's like, well, who the hell is this? You're 20. You're 20 years old. Yeah, and he's 20. But yeah, guys. She thought he was gay. She thought we were gay together. Maybe.
You fuck.
Welcome to Sam Easy. Oh, great. Now we can't show Ben this webinar. Fuck. Just so you guys know, Ben is gay. He's a very, very happy guy. But he's also a really good friend and an amazing fucking resource. So.
Yeah, brilliant guy.
Yep. You gay. That's a video from YouTube if you haven't seen it. I'll actually post that. And then I'm about to get off because I really got to drive down to the office, guys.
All right, guys. I think we're gonna cut it off here. Unless there's a last minute question. Nope. All right, guys. We will get the next training date posted for you guys, and we will. I also promised you guys that I would put it. I'm going to put up a training video of how I use Spin Rewriter for those guys that use Spin Rewriter. It's been like one of the greatest resources that I've had. So I'm going to get that up for you guys too soon. All right, guys. We will talk to you soon. I'm going to close out the room and later.
You are currently the only person in this conference.